And I now invite Mr. Andrew Henderson to deliver the occasional address. Andrew Henderson is Senior Commercial Manager with ISIS, Australia's leading commercial property services group. Andrew completed his apprenticeship in carpentry and joinery and has worked his way through the ranks, from the tools to the leadership positions as a leading hand and foreman before embarking in project management. After graduating from Victoria University with a graduate diploma in project management in 2000, and with his 25 years experience in building and construction, Andrew is a respected manager and leader in his industry. Please welcome Mr. Andrew Henderson.
Thank you everyone today. I'm very much honoured to be able to be afforded this opportunity to stand in front of you, and also in front of Chancellor, Vice Chancellors, academics and graduates here today. It's an interesting request that I had when I come here today, is that I find it pretty ironic that a Year 10 student at high school can have the opportunity to stand in front of you today to talk about the experiences of what the university has offered myself and many of you here today in the past and will do in the future. It just goes to show you what you can go and achieve, and there is so many stories that could be derived out of very similar experiences. I was asked to put together a couple of words, in memory of the lead up to furthering my further education, and to where I presently am today. And as I look around the room, there are so many of you here who would have better stories than I can share, but there will be a lot that will resonate. It's not anything to do with anything special. It's just that when I try to put something together, I think there is so much that people can take. Like many children and adolescents, you can go off and explore many different opportunities. Like myself, schooling wasn't my favourite pastime. Playing sport and mucking around with my mates was number one. And at the time when decisions were to be made about education, at the time I felt, well, I look back now, I wasn't mature enough to make those decisions. I always assumed that study was for people who did their HSC at the time and VCE. I left school to go and complete a trade apprenticeship, and what it taught me was the harsh realities of life. School was a nice cruisy spot. The responsibilities and the pressures in that era were all about keeping a job. Through my life, I've been very fortunate to be inspired by a number of people, and without naming every person that's come across in my life, there's probably three key areas. First of all, I was fortunate enough to be part of a sporting club, the Campbell Hockey Club, and it's the people within there and the values that they were able to afford me that directed me and guided through my path. My wife, Suzanne, who has been and still is an amazing inspiration. Where I came from a practical experience, she had more of the academic in her. So you could just imagine in our household, I've got to study, no, I want to go out. It was her disciplines, and as I grew to mature as a young man, that allowed me to start to frame up where I might end up. I remember many times of her studying, and many of you around the room can share these experiences where through the long hours of putting your head into the books, you're looking for a break, cup of coffee, something to eat, that in time she would be returning that favour to me. She encouraged me to have a go, as she could see the potential in me. Thirdly, but not least, is the company that I presently work for, ISIS Group. I've been there for nearly 14 years, and I've been part of a growing, exciting business, and this is not a sell on the business, but it's more about what business and life's all about. It is all to do with the people. And when you look back on life, never ever forget who helped you get to where you are. I was asked to speak about my education experience. I could write it out on one hand. I always used to think it was daunting, as most of you would have experienced when you undertook your course. I didn't have the confidence to take that leap into education. But the opportunity to enrol at VUT in the Project Management Postgrad, it afforded me a real life opportunity, an education forum with topics and assignments relevant to the career path I chose. The approach to learning afforded me the opportunity to align my learning approach to the academic field. And there's a number of different ways. You can be a hands-on visual learner or an academic reader, theory, knowledge-based gatherer. That's my view on learning. I know there's many colleagues around here would have a number of theories around that, but that's as simple as I'll keep it. Initially, having used the run before you walk mentality in study, I used the structures and the guidance at the university to direct me and guide me and help me develop those tools that remain strong with me today. Hopefully I don't offend anyone here, but it did take me 2 years to understand that you have more learning tools than going and talking to people and grabbing all literature you can. There in fact is a library. So I do encourage everyone around the room, if you haven't found it, it's not a bad source of information. Again, hopefully I'm not repeating myself, but VUT prided itself in offering a practical approach to the academic project, which allows those who have demonstrated those technical and practical skills avenues to explore and learn, which truly resonates with myself. And just quickly, I'd like to thank Chandra, Abutra and Sama for their support and guidance in this area. Just a bit of a snapshot on the achievements that I probably looked at today and feel pretty proud of. You don't sometimes recognise it. But the extensions of the VUT learnings have afforded me wonderful experiences and opportunities. I was touched on before. When I started this course in '97 and completed it in 2000, I was employed with a small growing commercial building company with a national presence. And just to give an indication of the growth, around that time it was about $100 million nationally. During the next 14 years, whilst I studied, I had the opportunity to then go and apply my project management skills. So from site management, so running it on the day-to-day, to then managing teams of people in delivering projects. Through there, as the business grew, my opportunities grew into operations management. So then you're further expanding your management and leadership skills. In 2009, I was manager of the Victorian business at the time. It was 85 million. So if you take what the national business was and the size and complexity it grew to, and again, those skills were continually used. To today, in a restructured business, we're national 600 million, and in Melbourne alone, we look after 150 million with 130 staff. So from the humble background of nail bag, tools, to now managing people. So many skills that cross-pollinate through all those areas. I was asked for some professional tips, and I could offer you this. Use the knowledge that you gather and the process that you use to find it, to apply it, as the opportunity to engage and network with fellow people within your industries and outside of that. All aligned and like-minded individuals, and learn from their experiences as they will from you. Next point would be about the disciplines and structure. As I highlighted earlier, there wasn't much in my early education, but that approach in studies and maintaining a strong focus on your goals really reminds you to keep it simple and not overcomplicate it. I used to think the whole study and learning process was going to be difficult. It is, but when you actually think about it, it's all there in front of you. And finally, on that area of professional advice, is draw on the power of your achievement. Continue to explore ways to constantly improve yourself and setting your next work and align them with your life goals as they work together. Today, I congratulate all the graduates present today. Firstly, enjoy that sense of achievement. Now you've received your award and taken in those accolades bestowed on you for achieving that milestone. And secondly, what's touched on earlier by the Chancellor's opening speech, by no means least, thank your partners, your families, your friends, your work colleagues and your academics, and those many cappuccinos that helped you get through those long nights. Remind yourself that the support and love from them have allowed you to achieve what you did today. Again, thank you for the opportunity to share my experiences. They're only minor, but at the end of the day, hopefully there's a lot of alignment with what you've heard today, and wish you all the best in your future endeavours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for your insightful and inspiring comments. I think Andrew represents a wonderful example of the impact that Victoria University has on people's lives, because no matter where you start, it's the education here that helps you grow in your trade or in your profession, in your industry, in your community, and as a person in your own right. So we really appreciate your comments to us this afternoon, Andrew. Thank you very much. Again, yes.